Hi, welcome back to the Butterfield Alpaca Ranch YouTube channel. I am Tasha. This is where I share with you my alpaca life with these wonderful animals. In today's video, I'm going to take you again back in time where I worked at a fiber mill. Now, if you've been a follower of this channel, you heard me talk. Last year I had the opportunity to buy a fiber mill. And I went and worked in that mill to learn, well, first of all, if I'd actually like it, and then of course how to do the job. Now, in the end, I did not buy the fiber mill. And that's a story for another day. But while I was there, which was, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, that I experienced a number of things with processing fiber. Now, I've shared with you before a number of videos about processing alpaca fiber. And there's actually a playlist that I will link up in the corner. Wait, for you, is it here? I think it's up here. Whichever corner it's going to be, a playlist where you can go back and see some of those where I'm using equipment that is more appropriate for the home. This, however, is a scale up from that, a step up from that in the cottage mill industry. So this is not really huge machines, but they are all machines. Where my position was a spinner, I was able to spin and ply about 10 pounds in a day, which if you are a spinner, that's like amazing. I mean, spinning all the plies and then plying them to finished yarn. It was thrilling. I really liked it. But I also had the opportunity to work at some of the other machines. That was the whole process. I also have another video called From Fleece to Yarn. In this very mill that I worked at, we took a tour that showed you all of the steps. And so I'll link that up in the corner as well. And the links I'll also put down in the description box if that's easier for you to find it. But I'm going to take you back to some of the yarn that we processed at different stages, and you can see the progression and kind of share with you some of the things that I learned.
So this is my station in the mill. I spin and ply the yarn. These 3 machines here are the spinners, and I only have one running at the moment. But what I'll do is I'll take cans of roving, thread that through this back bar, draft that fiber, so that determines how much fiber is coming through, and that is determined by what size yarn it's going to be. So lace, fingering, sport, worsted, bulky, whatever it's going to be, the draft is going to allow the proper amount of fiber to come through. The front bar adds the twist. And then it is loaded onto the bobbin. Now, depending on the project, I can adjust the speed of those spindles, the speed of the twist, and the speed of the draft. And for each batch, those have to be set separately, depending on what end result we're going for. And once all those are done, I have to tell you, up here there's a few of this batch. Those are finished, waiting for the plier. And this is the same kind of machine as those other 3. It's just dedicated to doing the plying process, the ply step. So we put those finished bobbins up here. We can do 2 or 3 or even 4 ply. Most of what we run is 2 ply. And that's what I have set up here. So those come down here, and the front bar again is adding twist, and this is actually spinning in the opposite direction of those. So over there is Z twist, over here is S twist. So we're taking out half of the twist that was put in order to get a nice ply. And then those are loaded onto different bobbins. And when those get full, I take them over here and I'll show you. This goes to the next station, which is steaming and steaming.
Before it comes to me, it gets washed, dried, picked, sometimes dehaired, and carded. The picker machine opens up the fibers before they're sent off to the carder or the dehairer, but it's also a place where you can blend fibers, and in this mill, it's the primary opportunity where they did this. So one day, I was blending brown Wakaya alpaca with recycled sari silk. Behind the picker is a room where it shoots all of the picked fiber. And so on this day, you get to see that brown alpaca with those little bits of recycled silk sari. It has moved on to the carder. Which gives us roving. Then taken over to the spinners, and you can see that roving coming through. It's getting drafted, it's getting twisted, and down onto the bobbins. And this is a single ply of that yarn. This is the final yarn after it has been plied and steamed, and now put into a hank. Here are other examples of yarn with a silk sari blend. This is two colors being plied together, and it creates what we call barber pole. This batch turned out really beautiful. We have one thread of silver metallic being plied with two plies of Wakaya alpaca. This is an example of the value of heavily skirting. That is getting as much VM out of your fleeces as possible before you try to process them. So this fiber here has already been washed, picked, and carded before it came to me, and you can still noticeably see the VM that's in it. Some of this will continue to fall out at each step of the process, but in the end, you're still going to have it in your yarn. What we typically use from an alpaca to make yarn is the blanket or the prime fleece, and this is an example of that. But we also can use the seconds. So compare this to this. This looks a little more rough, it's more hairy. The staple length is a little shorter. It might not be as fine, but you certainly can make yarn. However, you are going to have a higher rate of loss during the processing. And at the spinner, that loss looks like this.
We're running a 3-ply worsted today. We usually only do the 2-ply, so this is a little fun. You can see it just started. So those bobbins have hardly anything on them.
I didn't want to leave this video without showing you some of the fluffies, the ones that give us the luxury fiber to give us that amazing yarn.
They're so fluffy! Oh, those are the bins that need to go outside under the lean-to. Stopping for a snack on the way in. Beautiful Saturday.
Thank you for joining me today. It has been a pleasure to share this with you. Alpaca fiber is one of the passions of my life. That's the very reason I have these delightful animals. And so I was really thrilled to be able to share this with you. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel because it makes a really big difference with the algorithm. Leave a comment. Tell me what you thought. I'd really like to know. And then I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.